All right, today we're jumping into a pretty wild thought experiment. What if the one thing we count on most, the sun, just wasn't there anymore? Seriously, try to picture it, right now. In one single, quiet instant, poof, the sun is just gone. What happens in that very first second? What about the minutes or even the days that come after?
Okay, so our story starts right there, in that first moment of complete darkness. And the initial shock? It's not just that the lights went out. It's that everything we assume will always be there just starts to fall apart.
Yeah, just like that. No big boom, no warning signs. 1 second, the sun is right there, the heart of our solar system. And the next? Nothing. Just a terrifying, impossible void where our star should be.
You know, the crazy part is, for a full 8 minutes, we wouldn't even know. That's how long it takes for the last bits of sunlight and its gravitational pull to reach us. But when that last ray of light hits, the switch is flipped. Instantly. Earth is suddenly flying off into space, and along with the light and warmth, our whole concept of a future just vanishes. If you could zoom out and look at it from space, you'd see Earth suddenly become just another rogue planet. It's cut loose, thrown into this endless night, a tiny, silent scream that's completely lost in the sheer scale of the universe.
So back on Earth, the whole rhythm of our lives just breaks. Our world, the one that never sleeps, it grinds to a dead stop. Power grids start failing, especially those connected to solar or thrown off by the crazy temperature drops. The entire planet gets quiet in a way it probably hasn't been for hundreds of years.
Okay, so while we're all trying to figure out what's happening in this sudden, permanent night, the natural world starts to react. And its reaction, well, it's nothing short of pure instinctual chaos.
We always think of nature as this perfect system, right? Full of rules that can't be broken. But this quote gets at something deeper. Without its main engine, the sun, the whole system just gets lost. It's like even nature itself has no idea what to do next.
Think about it. The weather, which is all driven by the sun's energy, would just spiral out of control. The winds wouldn't have those normal temperature patterns to guide them, so they'd just scream. Animals, whose entire lives are synced to the sun, they'd be completely confused. This isn't just about it being dark. This is the fundamental order of things completely coming undone.
And after that initial chaos, something else starts to creep in. A new threat. It's a cold so deep that it literally starts to change the physical state of our world. Everything that used to be liquid and alive begins to freeze over, becoming fragile and brittle.
Right now, our world is defined by liquid water, green plants, living things. But take away the sun and the temperature just plummets. Within a week, the average temperature across the globe would be 0. After a year, -100. The oceans would freeze solid, plants would die, the air itself would start to get thin as our planet just transforms into a giant ball of ice.
So, with the entire world freezing solid, what about us? What happens to people? Well, the focus isn't on figuring out what happened anymore. It's just about surviving it. The new mission is simply to search for a spark.
But let's be real, these actions, they're not really about physical survival. A tiny fire isn't going to heat a frozen planet. No, this is more of a ritual. It's this desperate act of defiance against this overwhelming darkness. It's about being able to look at a tiny flicker of light and just remind yourself, I'm still here. I still exist.
And that really brings up a huge question, doesn't it? We're desperately looking for light, for some physical spark. But is that really what keeps us going? Or is the total absence of the sun actually forcing us to search for a different kind of light, something from within?
So the darkness stops being just a physical thing. It kind of becomes a mirror. It strips away all the normal stuff, our jobs, our plans, all our little distractions, and it forces us to look at ourselves and ask, who are we, really, at the most basic level?
And that leads us to the final part of this whole thought experiment. And honestly, it might be the most important. We're moving beyond the physics and the biology now. This is about philosophy. It's about what you learn about yourself when you've lost literally everything. In this new world, you have to completely redefine what darkness even means. It's not some enemy you have to fight anymore. It's just the condition of life. It's like a test, a crucible that burns away everything that doesn't matter, leaving only the absolute core of the human spirit.
And this is maybe the first and most humbling lesson that this darkness teaches us. All our amazing technology, our giant cities, our grand plans for the future, They mean absolutely nothing when faced with a cosmic event like this. We learn we aren't the masters of the universe. We're just fragile passengers on this tiny, cold rock.
But here's the incredible paradox, right? When we are at our most vulnerable, totally alone, and literally facing extinction, that human drive to find meaning, it doesn't go away. In fact, it gets stronger. We start searching for connection, for purpose, for any reason to keep that little fire going, even when it feels like the universe couldn't care less.
And that leads us with the ultimate question, the one we can't really answer. This is the final test. When you're faced with total, absolute hopelessness, does that one thing that makes us human, hope, does it finally snap? Or does it turn out to be its own kind of light, one that doesn't need a star to shine?
Maybe in a world without a sun, we'd finally realize that the most important light we have was never the one up in the sky. This whole scenario isn't just about a disaster, it's a revelation. It doesn't just show us what we've lost, it reminds us of the one thing that can never be taken away, our own internal search for meaning.